Hello, everybody, and welcome to another SIG Windows meetup. It's the 2nd of July. Thank you all for attending, and make sure you play nice with the Kubernetes rules for public recordings. All right, so we've had a tremendous amount of activity on some of the testing PRs. I know that both Claudio and Adelina fixed a whole bunch of issues. Adelina or Claudia, do you guys want to give us a high-level update so everybody can be aware of some of the things that you guys addressed this last week?
I think Claudio has more on this, but as an overview, from my part, some things to keep a heads up, especially for the other CIs. There were a couple of changes in Kubernetes this past weeks. Basically, the extensions that v1 beta 1 API endpoint, API version, is disabled. Everything got moved under apps/v1. So whenever you're making anything remotely related to that, like daemon sets or whatever with the newest Kubernetes, be sure to use that. In our case, for the CI, we just re-enabled them until it gets fixed in AKS Engine. We have stuff tracking that. We had problems with images that Claudio has been fixing. What else? Oh, another thing to keep a heads up, in the latest Kubernetes, I think the past Friday, node labels have some stricter rules in the sense that what you can apply or what you cannot apply on the node. And Claudio, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you've been fixing in your PR, especially around the images?
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. Fixes regarding the images. There was an issue which we had. Someone merged pull requests, which basically did some refactoring around the test images and their names. Basically, they're all in the same place right now, but there was an issue that they merged with that. And I sent a pull request which fixes the issue we've been hitting in our CIs everywhere. And that much, then now should be fine.
Cool, thank you. All right, thank you, Claudio and Adelina. And I know that Ben, you went through and closed, I believe it was 4 tickets around issues that you encounter in vSphere testing with the new KB coming out from Microsoft. So I think that, that's, thank you for both you and Microsoft for creating the lead. That's going to increase the stability of some of our test runs as well as for customers. So it's good to know, good to have as well.
Did open a new one today, though.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't want to mention that, but I saw the new one. So I'm assuming you tagged the right folks from Microsoft on that, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, cool. Patrick, you want to talk about the pause image?
Yeah, so last week, I got the image updated that includes the contributions from Ben with that WinCat image. And so if you go look at the SIG Windows Tools repo, it now has a Docker file in there as well. I had to tweak that very slightly to work with the build process for MCR, but the end result is the same, where it's keeping WinCat in the path. And so I'm updating some stuff over on the AKS side to use port forward. And then once that's working, then we'll see about enabling some of the other upstream tests that rely on port forward there. So that image is available and you can use it now.
Is this image built out of the Docker file in the SIG Windows Tools, or does it just have its own copy?
I have a copy of that. I have to change a few arguments because I build it using Azure Container Registry tasks, and some of the variables are different.
Got it. All right.
And that's just kind of that's just due to a difference on how we launched the build process there. Because my working directory is different on those machines.
Okay.
But if you do a describe on the image, you can see what commands were run, and they're basically the same. And so it's doing a Docker multi-stage build, where the first stage is building that WinCat binary, and then it copies into the path for the second one, and then sets the entry point to be that infinite ping loop, just to keep a process alive. And so if you need to build your own, you can use that Docker file there, and it's going to come out exactly the same. And then I'm working on updating the docs next, now that image is published, because I realize the website still says to use PAWS 1.0 or 1.1. And so people won't get port forward with that. So I'll get that fixed this week.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, Claudia, you want to tell us about the run as user? I saw that both Deep and Jordan both made some more comments last week, and we've addressed a lot of them. So give us a high-level update there, please.
Yeah, I pretty much finished with the implementation for that. I basically had to rebase and add a couple of extra things like the validation and the feature gate. Basically, the feature is going to be in alpha state right now, which means that you'll have to explicitly enable in the Cube API server arguments in order to actually use it. So that's being done. I got quite a few comments from Deep and who else? I'm kind of forgetting the name right now. But yeah, thanks for the comments. Basically, I only have small things to fix right now, and it should be finished. And I've also added E2E tests for run as username, which is gonna help with validating the feature as well. And
are those tests testing run as username on its own, or both on its own and with GMSA enabled? Which is probably what we want, because we want to test both of them together and also in isolation.
On its own, because for GMSA, as far as I know, you have to have a special setup, like an AD or something like that, which might require some extra setup on the CI side.
So Deep has, obviously when Deep and John worked on this on GMSA, they have their own test setup. So maybe we should create the test and just have it run in Deep's setup rather than yours.
Yeah, so just to clarify on that, so basically our setup, the E2E test we added was more of functional E2E and like a full E2E with GMSA, and the AD is being looked at by Jeremy. So he is, I think, working with Adelina to get that up, as well as Jean. So that'll happen as part of 116.
Yeah, so we probably should create the test because eventually it should work.
Absolutely, we'll make sure run as username also has a test there.
All right.
Anyways, still regarding the run as username, since we're going to have this feature, I'm also going to take a look at the other E2E tests, especially conformance ones, which require running as non-root, and try to make them Windows to also work on Windows by instead using run as username instead of run as user, which should also enable more tests for Windows.
So basically what you're going to take in that case, you're going to find the run as users test from Linux and update them to run as username. Is that basically the only thing that you will do there?
Yep.
Okay. I'm assuming those tests basically verify the workload identity that's starting up the process inside the container. and that should be easy for us to verify on Windows or Linux. Okay. No, the one thing I realized the other day when Lubomir was asking some questions around runner's username and GMSA, it made sense to me that probably what we haven't documented very well is that if you are using GMSA, the only way that the workload can capture your identity in the network externally is if you're running as local system or network service. I don't know if we have that anywhere. And the runner's username capability now will enable you to really just do that. So it might be worthwhile to add a note. So as we're progressing for 1.16, we add that documentation. So we instruct people, hey, if you run your account as full, it won't capture the GMSA on the network. You just basically did all that work for nothing.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think like in the documentation, we should capture it and align with what Microsoft published as well. I think we put it in the CAP, but yeah, we'll make sure of that in the docs as well.
Yeah, like I went back when Lubomir was asking questions and I looked at it, I said, yeah, the things that he's confused about just don't exist. We have it. Like if you go to the GMSA documentation in Microsoft, you can understand how the network identity is only captured using those two accounts. But in our docs, I don't know if everybody.
Yeah, and end user docs.
So it's a couple of simple things to help them. Thank you, appreciate it. I don't have anything else for today, Patrick. Anything from your end?
I was just looking at the board real quick to see if there was some new stuff on there. Hold on, let me find it. There was one new issue that I wanted to ask about. Sorry, for some reason my browser is going super, super slow today. Yeah, so I'll look at that one from Ben. So there was something that Yuju had opened around, it says proxy version v1 should proxy through a service and a pod. It was marked as a failing conformance test. Are you on the call, Yuju? Are you?
Yes, but I didn't actually have time to look into it and see whether, but it was passing for a while and then suddenly failed. And I noticed that it was failing on both AKS and GCE, so probably a legit failure.
Okay, but so it's a recent change that caused it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got that one marked on 1.16, so we could track that. Okay.
Okay.
I don't think I have anything else yet. And Ben, if you've got a crash on that other one and you want to share the dump, contact me directly and we can, because you don't want to post that publicly.
Oh no, I already did. I mean, it's just from a VM. It's not. I was under the impression there was nothing sensitive in there, but maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. Just don't have any super secret passwords in there or anything like that.
No, I mean, it's from a VM that's running on a private network. Yeah. I'm not worried about that. And the VM's already gone, yeah. So.
Okay, good. Yeah. You don't want LastPass or something like that, so.
No.
All right.
Cool. I was going to ask, since we don't have any other topics, if Kalia, if there's an update on KubeADM and where we are and what's left, that'd be great for us to kind of.
Yeah, so the 1.15 binaries are out. So I was previously testing with 1.14. So I'm going to test these scripts with 1.15, which will be easier to do instead of building from master. And then the lawyers are good with us contributing those scripts under the Apache license, so that's okay. And I'm gonna pick it up again now this week. So I was working on some platform stuff last week, but
okay. You marked your PR as work in progress, so we didn't approve it. But I guess once you finalize updating the scripts and put the right licensing on it, then let's kickstart another review. And I know that Craig, funny thing, I worked with Craig almost like 12 years ago before when I was at Microsoft. So I know that he created a PR for some dogs. Is he gonna revamp that and put it in the right place now that that he's been asked to update that?
Did you guys finalize which place it's going to be in?
I thought we did, but the PR is gone, so I don't have it handy anywhere. Basically, the KubeADM team wanted us to put the docs under Windows. I thought that the right place to put the docs is under KubeADM. I mean, and we can link to it from Windows, but I don't really feel strongly for it. So let's create a subtree under the Windows setup and talk about how to set up using KubeADM, and then in the KubeADM documentation, point to it.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk to Greg. And so we'll get started on that too. But there's nothing blocking there.
No,
when I
it's
get
about
it,
getting it ready so people can start looking at it. Because we don't have to wait for 1.16 to ship KubeADM. We can just announce it alpha earlier on.
Yeah.
So all the things are out of 3.
Yeah, I'll get those scripts up, and then once they're okay, I'll take off the work in progress tag. But I would like you and Patrick to run through it and actually use the script.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We have lots of people that will try it. I think we'll get some hands-on experience with it and test it out.
Okay.
We'll do that as well.
Yeah, he already reviewed, and he mostly just had cosmetic changes. So.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. I guess another thing I wanted to mention is I've got someone new that's going to be working with me on this. It's Mark. Say hi.
Yeah, hi. I just started yesterday, so still getting ramped up on everything.
And so you'll probably see him around on Slack and in the meetings. So we're fixing a couple things in AKS, and then he's going to move on to some of the Kubernetes repo work, which will be awesome. So
is Mark the new Craig or?
No. Craig's on vacation this week.
Okay, got it.
Welcome, Mark.
Welcome, Mark.
He needed a week to recover after multiple international trips.
Yeah. Very nice. Cool. Welcome, Mark. Glad to have you on board.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. We might give everybody 10 minutes back. If anybody's taking out some time off for July 4th, enjoy the rest, and we'll see you guys in 1 week. Thank you.
All right. And also, FYI, SIG node meeting is canceled at 10. So.
Woohoo.
Happy
All right.
Fourth. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye.